This presentation is going to cover temperate grasslands, which is what you guys see in the background. It was brought together by David, Isabella, Jamlin, and myself. So let's get started. First, a brief overview of temperate grasslands. They're present in almost all continents. Grasslands are known for their abundant grass vegetation, which is a result of long, dry, and cold seasons that allow for recurrent fires. Besides its long-rooted grass vegetation enriched with wildflowers, animals such as bison and elk also populate the biome. And in the United States, temperate grasslands are mainly found on the Great Plains, being a belt between deserts and forests. So the first part of this presentation is going to cover biotic factors of temperate grasslands. Biotic factors in an ecosystem refer to all the living components found in the environment. This presentation will break down various aspects of these living components, such as plants, animals, symbiotic relationships, predators, prey, invertebrates, predator-prey relationships, human influence, as well as some interesting facts at the end. So first off, we have plant life. Wind-pollinated grasses dominate the grasslands, hence the name. Other flowering plants are also common, like asters, blazing stars, goldenrod, sunflowers, clovers, and wind indigos. I found this particularly interesting because I thought the environment consisted only of grasses. I didn't realize that the plant life was a little bit more diverse. Tree growth and shrubs are suppressed by drought and grazing. However, grasses survive because perennial buds are protected below the soil surface. Small bushes and grass are semi-resistant to grazing and fire, which is essential to this environment. The root structure, along with the growth habit of native grassland plants, create deep, rich, fertile topsoil, which is also one of its top features. The continuing existence of these grasslands depend on the plethora of different types of grass. The types of grasses depend on its environment, but they fuel the grasslands by having a huge biotic factor and impact. The grass's adaptive nature allows them to survive in many climates. This is possible through the silica within the leaves that allows for absorption of sunlight and the ability to store energy down in the roots. So next we have animal population. Animals categorized as grazers are essential to the growth of trees and shape of grasslands. They also return nutrients to the land through their manure. And invertebrates play a big role in maintaining life within the grasslands. They can also sometimes work as grazers. And then some herbivores would include bison, elk, pronghorn antelope, prairie chickens, insects, gazelles, mice, and other rodents. And their characteristics are teeth and digestive systems that are easily adapted to the grass-dominated diet. Grass is pretty hard to break down in the stomach, so this is pretty important. Carnivores would also include coyotes, wolves, bobcat snakes, birds of prey, and lions. And then prairie dogs are some examples of omnivores that also live within this biome. Next, we have symbiotic relationships in temperate grasslands. So first we have mutualism, which is a relationship in which both animals benefit. First example is an oxpecker getting to rest on the African buffalo. So the oxpecker gets to rest and it gets protection from the African buffalo, and in return it picks the parasites off from its body. And then bacteria live in the stomach of large herbivores and help break down or metabolize cellulose. So like I mentioned before, it's pretty hard to break it down, so the herbivores benefit greatly from this, and in return the bacteria get to live and thrive in their stomach. And the next is communalism, which is a relationship in which one animal benefits, but it doesn't hurt or impact the other animal necessarily. So the killdeer bird rests on the Cape buffalo, so in return it's protected and it gets to rest, but the Cape buffalo doesn't necessarily benefit from it. And large nurse plants provide protection for young seedlings growing under leaves. They protect from grazing and herbivores. And lastly, cattle graze and disturb insects which cattle egrets then feed on. The cattle receives no benefit while the cattle egret benefits from the food source. And then the last type of relationship is parasitism. I'm not sure how to pronounce either of those. But that's a relationship in which one animal benefits, but it hurts the other animal in return. So an example of this is the tapeworm inside of any of its hosts because it takes its nutrients and eventually kills it. And then brown-headed cowbird is considered a brood parasite. It lays eggs in the nests of other grassland birds and forces the other species to hatch the eggs and raise their young. And lastly, rattle lives on the roots of grasses and gains substance from feeding on the flow of nutrients and water through the roots. Their presence reduces nutrient flow to the grasses and reduces competitive dominance of grasses, allowing other species such as herbs to grow. They're considered semi-parasitic. Moving on to grazers. Grazers refers to the animals that live on a grass-dominated diet. Grasslands showcase an ecological relationship between grasses and animals. They are generally found in larger populations than predators in grasslands, and they can include zebras, gazelles, buffalo, wild beasts, deer, ground squirrels, and rabbits. They contribute to the fertile and rich soil by returning nutrients through their manure, and then less productive parts of grass leaves are eliminated by grazers. And then without them, predators would suffer greatly. And then next we have predators. They're a huge threat due to the open and exposed environment. This population consists of lions, wolves, birds of prey, bobcats, coyotes, foxes, and African dogs. Predators play a big role maintaining the grassland environment. They do this by helping downsize overpopulation, especially of grazers, and illness from spreading. They help keep grazing in check so that the vegetation isn't eliminated. And some examples are lions hunting zebras, gazelles, and birds, and then African dogs will basically just eat anything that's edible. Next, we have prey. The population of grazers or prey are maintained at balance by predators such as cheetahs, and lions. Prey includes the same population as grazers alongside other small animals. So gazelles eat grass, and then giraffes eat leaves from tall trees. Meat rats will eat any non-poisonous insects. And smaller animals burrow into the soil and hide from predators and other camouflage. They have to find other ways to hide since it is so open. And then other animals live in herds and packs to protect themselves as well. So next we have invertebrates. Grasslands are the home for numerous insects and other invertebrates. This would include ants, grasshoppers, butterflies, wasps, and bees. Some insects also act as grazers, such as grasshoppers, locusts, and caterpillars. And then others, like earthworms, are crucial to the environment by helping to decompose organic matter and maintaining soil health. And then some predator-prey relationships. As mentioned before, the predator-prey relationship in the grassland is essential to maintaining the environment by limiting grazing. This is especially important in grasslands due to how fragile their ecosystems are. And then predators create a problem due to the lack of shelter. So grasslands are the least protected biome, so it's important to keep them protected, and that's something that predators help to maintain. And then some human influence in the biome is, so positive influences, I couldn't really find anything, but negative influences would include the fires started by humans that spread and damage the soil, and then large parts of grasslands turned into farmland to grow crops due to the fertile soil. So a large majority of the natural biome is being turned into farmland, which isn't the best for it. And then the continuing agriculture development has eliminated many of the grasslands. An example of their misuse is seen through the devastating Dust Bowl in America during the 1930s. And then also some more negative influence is animals going extinct due to hunting. Some examples of this would be the bison and buffalo. Okay, and then lastly, some interesting facts. Grasslands are also called prairies, pampas, steppes, and savannas. This just has to do with where they're located, and also the different forms of it have slightly different characteristics as well. They're normally located between a forest and desert, and periodic fires ensure that invasive plants don't take over. This biome can be found on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. Around 25% of Earth is covered by grasslands, and temperate grasslands are changing the fastest. They are also the least protected habitat on the planet, which is again seen through the Dust Bowl. So next we move on to the abiotic components of temperate grasslands. So this will include temperature, rainfall, fire, and the soil. So first we have temperature. Temperature of the temperate grassland varies. It fluctuates between hot growing season and a dormant cold season. The warm growing season is a lot shorter, causing the grass to be quite shorter as well. Prairies are warmer, possessing longer grass, and steppes possess longer cold seasons that result in shorter vegetation. So this is another example of like the different names having slightly different characteristics. Next we have rainfall. Rainfall is one of the main abiotic factors contributing significantly to the appearance of the biome. In order for the grass to stay short, the amount of precipitation must be moderate, otherwise trees would begin to populate this biome. Temperate grasslands receive an average of 20 inches of rain per year. Rain typically happens in one part of the year while the rest of the months remain scarce of it. And fires, due to the long dry season, fires at temperate grasslands are quite common. Due to their complex root system, grass and wildflowers are able to grow back after being destroyed by fire. They keep trees from developing in this biome because it wipes out all the seeds, ending any potential germination. And then fires possess a positive side. They reduce very nutritious ashes. They produce very nutritious ashes that return to the soil, acting as a fertilizer for grass and wildflowers that are regrowing. And so next we have soil. Temperate grasslands possess very nutrient-rich soil that allows for the growth of grass and wildflowers. Enhanced by the biotic factors in the biome, the soil is enriched by the complex root system of the plants, also receiving nutrients from the ashes from the fires in the dry seasons. And then besides the ashes, the waste of animals such as bison contribute to the nourishment of the soil in the grasslands. This is the main job of grazers, like I mentioned before. And then I put together like a little collage because I was least excited about this biome because I thought it was the least interesting. But after doing the research over it, I found out that it has a lot, like it's more diverse than I had expected. So I put this together to kind of give people an idea of like everything that goes into this biome, which I found pretty cool. And then lastly, just some works cited to show where we got our information from. And that's all. Thank you.